I'm Stephen Human, and welcome back to Superhuman Customs. This is the channel where we just customize action figures, generally McFarlane figures, but sometimes if I got a hankering for something else, we'll do it. Today, we are continuing with our Justice Lord line. Now you remember I did that Batman, and I was gonna get a Superman. Well, this Superman came with my Doomsday, who is my pride and joy. I love that guy. This guy, the moment that I saw the 2-pack, I was like, all right, this guy will be my Justice Lord Superman. He's got an angry face. This is a perfect, Superman who turns into an authoritarian. So that's what we're gonna do today. It's mainly just gonna be a paint job. We are gonna replace the cape because I don't want the tattered cape. But when it comes to technique, this is gonna be pretty straightforward, so let's jump right in. Had this guy soaking for a couple minutes. We're just gonna take him apart because we're gonna spray paint him. So he is white and black primarily. And so we need to take him apart because I want to be able to have freedom to do with, I wasn't expecting that. And we need to take the cape off because we're going to replace the cape. And remember, just rip it. It comes off. Take the head off, there we go. Just rip it off. All right, we got most of it off. That's fine. And I was hoping to get one of these legs off. There we go. And the other one maybe? No. There we go. He is pulled apart. Now you'll notice here on the head is that he's got some red paint, right, for blood. And I was thinking about repainting his head, but then I thought, we might just be able to scrape off this blood. And it actually is coming off with just some light scrapes. He's still a little bit warm from soaking. And so we might not have to paint him at all. Just scrape off some of this paint, like he doesn't have it dripping down his face anymore like he did. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. So the cape we're gonna use is just one of these leftovers from our old armored Batman, and it'll go up here, and then we're gonna take some Milliput, and we're gonna add it so that it attaches to the cape. So this will just get spray painted. All we have to do is just cut off the spiky ends here, and we should be good to go. Before we paint this guy, I wanna kind of mold in where the cape stuff is gonna go, because the cape is attached to the symbol. So I'm gonna use some Milliput, and I'm just gonna fill in these areas here as best I can, and then cut them with a razor, and then mold them so that they look like they're attached to the cape. And I put 2 little notches in here. I kind of press the cape up so that there will be a couple notches in here so that the cape will actually fit. Let's turn this guy black. He's all back together, looking pretty good. Now we're gonna just start going through and doing the details. I tried to resin this in place up on the shoulders, and it didn't look right, and the resin really didn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut these off, and I'm going to just stick it to the back so that it doesn't come over the shoulders. That's how it's supposed to look anyway, so it's probably how we should have done it from the very beginning. But, if you don't always get it right off the bat, you'll have to try again. And that's what we're gonna do. We're just trying again. I got the cape glued on, but I had to clean off all of the stuff up here, all the glue and stuff that I had used from the other one. So we're just gonna do some touch up, and we're gonna do touch up on the black as well. So you can see there's some areas where the spray paint just didn't get. And so that's our next step. Just going through, crisping this guy up a little bit. And then we'll move on to the details here in the S. One thing I wanna do with this guy, I'm going to take a little bit of black, and I'm just going to kind of go over his hair. His hair is very blue. I don't know why they did that, to make him look more haggard or something. I have no idea. So I'm just dry brushing on a little bit more black. I still want the blue in there. I just don't want his hair to necessarily look blue. We're still getting so much good use out of this stupid orange thing from Kong Kenan. And so I'm just going to cut these strips because he's got those white lines that go through on his arms and legs, and we're going to paint these white, and these will be what we use for those. We'll glue them in place, and he'll look awesome. I'm going to do the belt while those other ones are drying, and I am not going to lie, I'm not very excited about this guy, and I think that's okay. Most of the time when I customize a figure, I'm very excited. Well, this guy, when I got him with the Doomsday, I was like, okay, cool. I got him with the Doomsday, that's great, but I don't know, I just don't care for Justice Lord Superman. And I was excited about the Justice Lord Batman, but I'm not about this guy. So, take that
as you will. But it's okay, I think, to sometimes not be excited about a custom figure. But it is much more fun when you are, so just keep that in mind. Don't customize figures you don't give a crap about, and you won't have as much fun if you do. All right, let's go ahead and glue these into place. I got a little bit of glue on them, and we're just gonna wrap them around. And I didn't really realize, but none of these are long enough. They'll be long enough for up here on the hands, but not for the legs. Whoops. Again, I'm not super excited about this guy. I don't think I'm putting my all into this one. I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys.
Okay, so I've been pretty honest about this guy not doing it for me. But I think one of the reasons is that it's just not looking the way that I want it to. So like when I originally saw somebody do this, it was with an Eradicator body, and the cape came up, you know, off of the symbol, just like it should in the comics. And this one's just not doing it, but I found this. So I cut the ends of this off when we did the Justice Batman Beyond and we extended his ears. I think if we take this and we kind of Dremel this down a little bit, and then we bend these so that they kind of go over like this, that I can get the look that I'm going for and make the cape look cooler. So that's what we're gonna try. And don't be afraid to do this sort of stuff, where it's like if something's not working for you, don't force it. Instead, come up with something better to do. So let's do this guy better. And they seem to have worked. Blowtorch 1, cape 0. Let's go ahead and prime these bad boys. All right, so here's what we're looking at, sort of. It's gonna come over like this. Still not certain this is gonna look perfect, but we're gonna cut right here. I'm gonna cut these straight across and see if we can glue them in place. It's not gonna be a perfect interpretation of him, but I think it'll look cooler than if I just leave it like this. I mean, he looks lame. So let's do this. And the Batman that we already did isn't a perfect interpretation, so this will be my interpretation, and hopefully he doesn't suck. And I am just marking here where I'm gonna cut so that we can be a little bit more precise. Just using a pair of scissors is all. Cutting right across. There we go. I've got them glued on and they look all right. I mean, it's different, but you know, I don't want to add anything else here on these areas because then it's just going to thicken up his neck. So we're just going to go with this. This will be my first attempt at a Justice Lord Superman. And as I've said before, I don't necessarily care about this guy, but I do want him to look cool. And I think that he does look better now than he did before, even though it's not 100% accurate. So I'm just going to run through with the white, get all this stuff covered so that it looks correct, and then we will put the finishing touches on the S and the red, and we'll call it finished. It's not often that I get sick of working on a figure, but this is about as close as I've gotten. I think it's because I don't really care for Justice Lord Superman. I don't really care for evil versions of Superman. It's like it's such a boring trope. You know, oh, you take someone who's really good and you make them evil. It's like that can be interesting to a point, but when you've got a character who is good and you write them to be good, it's much more difficult to do. And when it's done right, it's much more wonderful. So this version has never been super exciting to me. I honestly don't know if I'm going to finish the rest of the team. I really enjoyed working on the Batman, but I have not enjoyed working on this Superman, partially because it's just been more of a pain than I expected it to be. So we'll see as I move into the coming weeks whether or not I finish the team. I think I probably still will, because having just a Superman and a Batman is kind of lame. So I'll see what kind of figures I can get. But for now, let's just paint this S and move on with our lives, shall we? Last little bit. Let's spray him with some clear coat, shine him up, and we can call it good. Man, this has not been the most fun character I've ever done. And there we go. No, this was not my most favorite experience doing this. I think it turned out all right. I mean, it looks all right with it going over his shoulders like this. It's not exactly what I had in mind. I'd probably do some things differently, but then at the same time, it's like I don't know how it would have turned out. I wish that I could have found an Eradicator body, and maybe if I can find one in the not too distant future, I'll just turn it into this guy, because that's a much better base to be able to use because the cape comes right off just as it should. But you guys know how hard it is to find an Eradicator figure. I was lucky to find mine. I had to buy it off of another character or of another collector. I actually never found one in stores. So this is an interesting way to do it. There was some experimentation, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. You're not always going to be overjoyed with the final product, but I learned some good things, and that's a win in my book. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed, but as long as we're learning from our failures, then we're all going to end up in a pretty good place. I'm Stephen Heumann. Check out stephenheumann.com for all of my books. Just had a new one come out, Dream Addicts. It's a sequel to my Dream Forgers book. It's a series. It's awesome. It's about shared consciousness and dreaming. You guys will love it. Check it out, stephenheumann.com. Also available on Amazon and on Audible. And I will see you guys with another custom next week.